This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. If you aren't expecting adult language, why even bother listening?
Welcome, my friends, to the Shun of Friends. This is the Red Bull Rant podcast. I'm your host, Jason Iapicco.
I'm Truman, and this is episode 474, A New Hope.
What doesn't have A New Hope is your Skype connection, though.
Yeah, well, at least not on the laptop.
Yeah. It's been a while. After the MLS Cup final, we probably should have done an episode, but work and shit got in the way. Yeah, probably. Before we talk about the real quick, I'm just going to add that into this agenda before I forget. So, real quick, we don't like to get too political or political at all in the show. We're not going to get into too much, but just a quick announcement that our Twitter account will still be there.
Yeah,
but we're going to be moving all of our social media activity over to Blue Sky and Instagram going forward.
Which means we're going to have to work on the Instagram thing.
Yeah. This show may be the last post I put on Twitter about it, only because, if you're listening to this, you may not know that you may have seen it from Twitter. So this is going to be literally the last post, but after this, we are moving all of our stuff to Instagram and Blue Sky.
And I don't think we have to explain why. I think if you know me and Jay at all, you know exactly fucking why. You could probably still message us there, and we'll check it and reply before shows. But and that might be about it.
Yeah. But no asking for stuff on there. No. I don't remember what the hell it was called. The pain index. We're not going to do that anymore on there. Like that's, like I said, the account's going to stay there, but it's just not going to be active. That's what it's going to look like going forward. All right.
I will try to work more on the Instagram thing. I will attempt. I only have 4 accounts logged in. I might as well just add a 5th.
I think I only have. Let me check my Instagram. I think I literally only have the Red Bull Rant account on here. No, I'm sorry. I got my own personal one too. Not that I post anything to that, but you have it.
It's good for threads.
Yeah. We technically have 2 followers on Instagram.
Oh, sweet.
Sorry, 25. Right. We have more than 22. I looked at the wrong thing. We got followers on Instagram. So.
All right. We'll use them more this season. You all pestered me to make sure I'm using it more.
Yeah, and I got to start getting images ready for different episodes now. Instagram template ready. All right. Anyway, let's talk about other stuff. MLS Cup final. Obviously, we lost 2-1 to the Galaxy. Our thoughts. I think you and we've talked about it. I think we're in the same agreement that basically this game came down to the fact that Reyes came out of the lineup literally right before the game started.
Yep. And that's it. That was it. They were completely caught off guard. Everyone was caught off guard. Jay, you were very caught off guard. I think I found out before you found out, like a minute or so.
Maybe I was watching the Fox linear. I wasn't watching on Apple TV.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And I wasn't watching the screen, right? Like I didn't go on social media. I didn't look at the screen because I was finishing something up. And literally they said Reyes was in the lineup. And then right after they say that, I get a text from you saying Reyes is not starting. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? They just announced it. And then like a minute or two into the game, they're like, oh, well, Reyes is not actually playing. We heard now he's out with, sickness.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, fuck.
Did he threw up in the locker room like just before going out onto the field? I think it was something like that.
Yeah, and then of course the 2 goals we give up are because they play through the middle where he would have been those first 15 minutes, and LA was out of position on both of those, and I don't blame him for being out of position because he's literally thrown in the minute, and at the last minute, and probably didn't 100% understand the game plan for defensively going forward.
Yeah, and that was it, and that was the game. That's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, because if Reyes is on the field and you assume those 2 goals don't happen, we win 1-0.
Or maybe one happens. Maybe they still get one, and it's a 1-1 game towards the end. A million different things that could have happened. Right. There could have been a million things that happened. But I mean, what's upsetting is they lost to a better team for sure. Right. Definitely a very good team. No shame in losing, but I think we talked about it. It's so hard to get there. It's so hard to get to that MLS Cup final. And now you realize that they have to, climb that mountain all over again. And the fact that Forsberg missed that touch right literally inside in front of the net, that is a very Red Bully thing. To be down a goal and miss just a golden opportunity and not score on it to equalize.
Yeah, you literally had it. You were right there and you couldn't put it away.
Yeah. But I mean, great season. A season we didn't see coming halfway through the year.
You didn't even see it happening at the beginning of the playoffs.
No, right. Yeah. It couldn't, I mean, obviously winning the cup would have been absolutely amazing. But aside from that, I mean, proud of the team, winning all those road games, beating NYCFC in their building, whatever building they play in at the time was great. Beating the Crew the way they did. I mean, hats off to this team.
And facing a very tough Orlando team and doing that too.
Yep. Just constant, every game was an absolute challenge.
And honestly, the chips in the Eastern Conference fell very favorably for them because if Miami does not get knocked out, we probably are not talking about an MLS Cup final.
Probably. Because, I mean, the way they played at Miami, they would have been in Miami again. So. But hey, that team is not unbeatable. They keep proving it time and time again. You can load up with 1 million players, but that is not an unbeatable squad they have there.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost to fucking Atlanta, so.
Yeah. Over 3 games.
Right.
So slightly disappointing end to the season, but, to me, yeah, it was great just to get there. But so far this offseason, we're going to start talking about the moves that are being made. I think this is the most positive, not the right word, most active the front office has been since Ali Curtis has been there.
100%. I mean, the season just ended and they started making moves, which again, we'll touch on it. This is the most active we've ever seen them. This isn't the losing the playoffs and bringing a guy you've never heard of to play in a third division for 2 years.
I mean, don't get us wrong. There is a player that we brought in that's unproven because he's like 20.
Correct. But that wasn't the only guy.
Are veterans.
And I think, didn't we talk about that too? I think we said if he was the only one they signed, I'm like, oh, here we go again. But it's not.
Yeah.
So he was the third person they brought in.
Yeah. All right. So first, players that are gone. As of today, officially, Dante Van Zier is out. He was sold to Belgian side Ghent. John Tolkien is gone to Germany. Holstein Kiel. Andre Maes is gone, traded to San Diego, which I think unfortunately fueled speculation that he wasn't sick for the Cup final. Personally, I don't buy into the idea of him just saying, basically, I'm not happy with whatever situation is. So at the Cup final is where I'm going to bow out, because him winning the Cup final would have meant a lot for his career.
Right. There's no way.
You're not giving up that payday. There had to have been a bonus he would have gotten just for winning the game, let alone whatever contracts he could have gotten afterwards. There's no way he's going to give that up.
No one in the league would have wanted a player like that anyway. If that was the truth, or like if that was actually what happened, nobody would want that guy in the league.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a rumor we can all squash.
Yeah. Brian Mara has retired. We'll get back to him in a second. And then Elias Manuel is gone to RSL. I don't remember if we traded him or not, but he's gone.
I think it was a trade.
And I think I'm gonna guess the Reyes deal was part of a hey, we'll trade you Reyes, don't take anybody in the expansion draft to San Diego.
Yeah, I could see that.
So before we talk about who came in, let's talk real quick about Ryan Mara. I said it in our group chat. I think the dude just suffered from an unfortunate series of events for him because as a rookie, he was doing well, had that bad injury in the game at New England. Robles came in, locked down the starter position. Once Robles
forever.
Yeah. And then once
Forever.
Robles retired, well, not retired, but he left.
Yeah.
He was not the first choice keeper, which to me didn't make sense, but that, coaches had their favorites. And then we got Cornell, and then Cornell has now been the guy since he came here. So,
and both justifiably, Cornell and Robles. I mean, there's no denying their talent. So there wasn't like, it's like a 50-50 guy. Like, I don't know why he keeps playing him. I mean, they were both they're both absolutely outstanding at their position.
Yeah.
But hey, Ryan Mara could have gone anywhere else. He could ask for a trade. He could have been starting somewhere, but he stayed here for almost his entire career. Consummate professional, consummate backup, U.S. Open Cup champion. Even though he didn't win a game, he was a stud in the Open Cup. He was a stud for Red Bull too. So he was the actual champion.
The winning goalkeeper in the USL Championship game.
Yep.
I think that year they actually went to multiple penalty kicks in the playoffs. If I remember correctly.
I was there for the win. I was there for the big win.
But I think in the semifinals they also had to go to penalty kicks, and he came through there too. Yeah. So he can actually lay claim to being on the only team in the New York Red Bulls organization to have a league-winning season.
Yep.
But yeah, just unfortunate. And then he had the 1 year he got loaned out to New York City FC and didn't play much in MLS after that, which sucks. But I mean, if he thinks it's his time, then it's his time.
Right. And I mean, I can 100% see him staying with the team in some form, whether it's a goalie coach or something in the front office. Unless he wants to go elsewhere.
Ambassador position.
Right. He's clearly loved by the organization, and he clearly loves the organization as well.
Yeah. All right. So now for players that have come into the team, I believe the first signing was Alex Hack, veteran defender. Most of his career was at Mines, and he actually played with Schwartz when Schwartz was the manager there. We also signed. So we said his name was Victor, but then when we found out it was with a W, how do you pronounce it?
Victor Bogads. Yeah. Victor, I'm sure I'm wrong, but Victor Bogads.
I mean, come on. It's just the over-the-top Dracula pronunciation is just perfect. Why not?
Yeah, Victor.
He came from, I don't even know how to say that first part of the team's name. Mainz? Legnica? Yeah, I think that's how you say it. Striker, signed under the U22 initiative. I forget what the hell it means. It's one of the roster shit. And then we also signed another forward. So we lost forwards. We're getting forwards. Like, we're actually trying to replace them. Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting. I'm pretty sure I fucked it up. That's just what I do. I think he came on a free transfer, but his last team was Bayern Munich, so he has experience.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is... Now, will they work out? We'll see, but these are positive steps forward for this team.
Right. Signing players, bringing guys in, realizing how close they were to a title. And, right, they immediately reinforced the defensive position again with losing Reyes. And then they improved before Van Zier left. They immediately improved the forward position in getting Maxime Choupo-Moting.
Well, I think once they got Choupo-Moting, I think he was a designated player, so I think they would have been over the limit. So I think Van Zier became kind of a casualty of the designated player rule. But honestly, I saw something, I forget what I thought, but basically his output, it was compared to Patrick Kamala, and he had one less goal, the same number of assists as Patrick Kamala, and the same number of games played. So that tells you what that means.
Right. Yeah.
All right. So general thoughts on what the moves have been so far?
I mean, again, we'll say it again. I like it. I like them strengthening the team, bringing in guys, not as just sitting around waiting for some scrub guy you never heard of coming in. Two veteran players and a young kid with potential, and that's better than just getting the young kid with potential that ends up moving back to Europe after his season. So these are all positives. I think maybe it took getting to a final for this organization of like, hey, maybe we should spend a little bit of money and bring some guys in that we actually have a chance of winning. I'm hoping the new head of Red Bull Soccer Global is part of this. I'm sure you know who that is, Jay, right? You know who that is?
You mean former Liverpool manager?
That is correct. Jurgen Klopp.
I'm thinking on the name for some reason, but yeah.
Jurgen Klopp, my friend. He is now the boss at Red Bull Soccer. So I'm going to trust that man.
What is one thing we've been saying that this team needs to do?
Well, spend money?
But no. But specifically the how. It wasn't just to just buy more youth. It was to bring in veteran presence to help build up the youth we have.
Just look what Forsberg did this year. Your perfect example, right?
Yeah.
You brought in the veteran, and look what this team did. They brought in one real big veteran, and they went to MLS Cup final.
But now they've added two additional veterans, right? One, so pretty much like the three lines on the field now have a veteran presence.
Yep.
Right. Maybe they don't play as much as you would hope a guy coming in like a DP salary would, but just having that veteran presence in the locker room is going to help. All these young kids are going to have people that they can look to as mentors and say, I want to be better. Give me what can I glean off of you to be a better player?
Yep.
I mean, if the whole ethos of this team is to develop talent and sell it, right? I know it sucks to hear it, but that has been their ethos for the last 5-6 years. Why wouldn't you invest in a few players to help those youth grow? Which one would bring you on field success, but two, make the youth better and make them much easier to sell down the road because now you have more developed talent.
Right. And again, let's face it, much as we hate it, minus like 4 different leagues, everyone's a selling league anyway. So,
yeah. Actually, realistically, outside of like maybe 10 teams, everybody else is selling.
Also, that is also very true.
Not even a league. I'm just talking 10 teams globally that are like buyers. Everybody else is just selling. Right.
Yeah.
It's all a huge Ponzi scheme, folks.
It is.
All right. Schedule was released as well. Red Bulls will open the season February 22nd at FC Cincinnati. They will have their home opener where they'll probably do some Eastern Conference Championship type celebration March 1st when they host Nashville. Please, Red Bulls, for the love of God, if you do that, do not wait till halftime or the end of the game. Do your celebrations early.
Yeah, no kidding.
We don't need another Luis Robles Day fiasco.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance to look at the full schedule yet. I don't know how it looks, but hopefully we don't have a lot of shit coming our way in terms of like busy schedules. I think I saw this week that the Red Bulls are at least rumored to be in the Open Cup next year. This year.
Rumored.
Maybe, yeah. Well, it's not announced, but they would be back to the Open Cup this year. Hopefully that means they're out of Leagues Cup. Apparently the league is going to allow it is like splitting teams into those two competitions, so not everybody's going to go to one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're realizing that having everybody in Leagues Cup's a bad idea. So We'll see how that works out.
I don't even like Leagues Cup anyway. It's so dumb.
That thing is that you actually get a CONCACAF Champions Cup spot out of it.
Yeah, until they give it to Miami in a different way.
Well, hold on. That was the Club World Cup.
Listen, don't trust them for doing anything. You never know what's going to happen.
Which apparently is happening this year, and people are having problems with ticket prices. Well, guess what? FIFA is a money-grabbing organization, just like everybody else.
Right.
The last bit of preseason news is that Red Bull Arena has a new name, and it is Sports Illustrated Stadium.
And that is exciting, I feel.
Well, at least it's money coming in.
It is. It's money. It's a new way of doing ticketing, apparently. Not this year, but I think starting next year. It's going to go through their ticket app, so that'll be interesting. I'm sure that's going to affect Red members completely.
And the supporters groups. That'll be fun.
Yeah. What I want to know is that since they showed this big video hyping up the new name, they're showing all these crazy parties. I want to know where these crazy parties are going on in that arena. Because the parties they show in these videos, I don't think can fit into that stadium. So I'm very curious.
I mentioned before I interviewed with Major League Soccer to be a web developer. When I was doing that interview, they took me to a game at Red Bull Arena. It was against the Union, I think, but like it was the seats where you needed the actual like membership card to sit. It had access to, I don't know what it's called now, but whatever like the club was behind the camera position. And that was bigger on the inside than I thought it would be. So I don't know. There might be room. Of course, you have all the suites and stuff too.
Oh, of course. Inside the SIS. It's very exciting.
If that nickname catches on, you know where to get the credit now.
Sis.
God. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about? We got through everything that's on the agenda. I don't know if.
Well, the preseason literally starts tomorrow. Preseason they play tomorrow against DC United. So there's already soccer to probably not be able to watch, but at least you know it's going to happen. So that's good.
Actually, that's a question. Is that game going to be available?
I doubt it. It's at IMG Academy, so I'm going to guess no, unless someone's going to live stream it on YouTube or something.
The one camera position from high above the benches. Yeah.
So a couple games down at the IMG Academy, and then they're back in Jersey for a day or so, and then they're back out in California for the Coachella Valley Invitational. I wish they just played on one of the Coachella stages. So 3 games out there. So yeah, preseason starts tomorrow, so we can get excited. Things are actually happening.
Yeah. I know it's because of fitting Leagues Cup and stuff in, but I feel like the offseason's almost way too short now for MLS.
It's right. It's a month, right?
Well, call it 2 because it was like, a little over a month ago? It was like mid-December when the Cup final was.
Right. It was like the 8th or 9th or whatever the hell, yeah.
And we're going to be playing the 22nd of February, so call it 2.5 months, but still.
But like it was just over a month of off season.
Yeah.
That's it. Just over a month of off season.
Yeah. How do you get players time to just relax?
They just don't. I guess they just don't. They're just at it.
So U.S. Camp Cupcake, by the way, featured multiple former Red Bulls: Tim Ream, Brian White, and why am I blanking on the other guy's name? For the forward, I can't remember. Caden Clark.
Yeah.
And Brian White got his first international goal against, I think it was Costa Rica, the other day. I don't know if he'll actually play anything more than that, but still.
Right.
Imagine Brian White if we didn't let him go.
At this point, who even knows? Who even knows?
Yeah. All right. So is that it? Are we done?
I think so. We can finally get excited. I guess I have to get work on the old Instagram. You have to send me all that information. I'll just log into another Instagram account.
Yeah. Okay. So let's wrap this one up. Patreon.com/Red Bull Rant, $1 a month gets you whatever exclusive content we decide to do. You can. We want to thank our producers, Jeremiah Dempster, Steven Santos, and Eddie Delecto. If you want to email us your thoughts to be read on the show, redbullrant@gmail.com. If you want to call us and leave us your thoughts via voicemail, 973-348-5329 is the number. On Blue Sky, I don't remember the full path, but it's Red Bull Rant for the show, Doctor Suits for me, and I think at the Truman for you.
Yep, I made sure I got on there nice and early so I can make sure I claim that handle.
So pretty much the same handles as everywhere else. Instagram, Red Bull Rant. So we're there. Subscribe to us via iTunes, YouTube Music, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, pretty much anywhere you can find a podcast. Last words before we wrap this one up.
Getting excited. Season's back. Players are playing. Players are in Florida. Pumped. Super pumped. So we've only just begun.
Yep. All right. So for Truman and myself, this has been episode 474 of the Red Bull Rant. Thank you guys for tuning in. And as always, go Red Bulls.
See you later.